need to have a little end of season wrap up, boys. So start with you, Dos. How do you look back on last season? What's your summing up of how the season went for you boys?
Well, from my point of view, it's our highest finish, I think, as a club. When we first came in November, and we sort of around, that sort of bottoms 5, 6, it was important that the club stayed in the league, because this is the right league for us at the moment. Second year again, you've got to respect and know what budget you've got. It was a question again of could we stay in this league, and I think we achieved it with about 3 games to go. I think we beat Swindon here, didn't we? Was it 4-1? Might have been 2 games to go. So the panic of staying up is always there. Don't ever leaves you. But last season, we knew that there's a lot happened at the club in the last 2 years to build it, to build the stadium, to build everything off the pitch. And we were in a position to increase the budget and actually have a competitive squad this year. It was a squad that, from a budget perspective, I think you should always look at that and be honest with yourself. Yeah. It was a budget that should have allowed us to get in the probably top 10.
Yeah.
So to finish between 6 and 10 was the top end of what I hoped for. But when you were that close in the last month of the season to be, and we were in it for a long period of time, it was a massive blow losing McCarthy with 7 weeks of the season left.
Yeah.
Massive blow losing Byron Mason. But I think every club at this level loses players throughout the season. We were just a bit unlucky. It hit us when it did. So,
but I think it's important for the fans to know. It's important where your budget sits within the league, so you have the expectation levels.
Yeah.
Now, as a manager and coaches, I know you want to exceed expectation levels. We all do. That's what we want to do. That's why we play football. That's why you want to coach. But I think it's important for the fans to have reasonable expectations of where the team could finish.
Well, in football, Man City and Chelsea normally would finish top 1 or top 2, and that goes through every league that I've ever been in, whether it's the Premiership right down to the level we're at now, Southern Premier League. And we know, as I said, we're not rose tinted here. We know that budget that we managed to give to myself and Ross was a top 10 budget.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't a top 6 budget, but it was a top 10 budget. And what we're trying to do each year is make sure that 1, we're sustainable, but 2, we can compete. So that's my point. I think knowing what we had and being honest about what we had, we just missed out on what would have been better than expected. To hit the Hampshire Senior Cup final as well, whilst it's not a glamorous competition, FA Cup, FA Trophy League is what us two concentrate on. But it was nice to give the supporters that night the Hampshire Senior Cup as well. But overall, I'll be giving it an 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay, Ross, how did you feel, like in terms of the player development side of things? How did you feel your players grew during the season?
Yeah, I think me and Doz have spoke about a lot, especially over the last sort of 18 months, about bringing young players to the club.
Yeah.
Big part of my job is obviously to develop them in a group environment, but obviously individually. And I think some of the players we brought in, Vinny being the first one to my head, like a 19-year-old coming from Sutton, who was
18 at the time.
18 at the time, and who was meant to come in really to gain first team experience, be around the squad. He's done brilliantly. He was patient at the start, all part of his learning. Being around men was really important for him, and then just having the ability out on the pitch to, after training, to work on extras, what we wanted him to do, to then become in off the bench, nicking a couple of goals, and then all of a sudden he's in the starting 11. I think he's had a brilliant first season. Obviously he got his opportunity to go to Ipswich, again, which from a development point of view is brilliant for him. But that's where me and Doz are sort of trying to push this team to be young players. Yeah.
Did you see a difference in him after he came back? Did you see a slightly more confident Vinny come back from Ipswich?
I think personally, I think he wouldn't mind me saying this, I think he was more confident going into it.
Okay.
I think you hear it with a lot of young players where they go into trials and their feedback was that he's as good as we've got. But a lot of academies, I've had a lot of experience with academies, that you don't sign players if you've got as good.
Yeah.
I think it probably hit him a little bit in his confidence.
Okay.
But like I said, this is part of the development, and I think he will come back stronger into pre-season. I know he's like as a person, he'll be working now to make sure that he comes in as strong as he can. And like I said, hopefully he can kick on for next season, score more goals, and like I said, he'll get his opportunity again.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, as you boys know, 2 seasons I've been watching, I've got to tell you, some of the football that has been played here has been brilliant. Like, I've really enjoyed coming and watch the games. You know, it's I think the pitch has helped this season.
Yeah, 100%.
I think with the way that we play and some of the passing moves that we've had and some of the goals we've scored have been absolutely outstanding. And I've obviously come down and watched training a few times as well, and I love the energy that's around the training sessions that you put on as well. I think that it's really good. The lads respond really well to you, and I've been really impressed with what's gone on. To be honest with you, being here for 2 years, it's been great.
I mean, going back to the Vinny question that you asked, we actually engineered that as a club as well. You know, one of the things that we're really keen on is that if players are so disappointed when they get taken up in a professional game, and especially around that 18-19 mark. You know, we've also got Tommy Lee Hicks, who's in that sort of profile as well. As I said, Vinny too. One of the things that we're really keen on is to actually push these players forward as well. You know, we're not their final destination.
Yeah.
I've said to Ross, I think one of our jobs as a club, but also as a management team, is to give the kids the opportunity. You know, when they get
back on their feet. Yeah.
There is gems in the non-league.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching the Jamie Vardy Netflix documentary at the moment, and there's more. You know, not necessarily from there to Premiership, but there are such good players, and it was someone's decision at an academy or a pro club, and they're not necessarily right or wrong.
No, I think that's one of the things I always say to kids who have been released. At the end of the day, it's one
person's opinion.
It's one bloke's opinion. You've only got to be in front of the right bloke
Yeah.
who sees your qualities to know that you can go again.
We've had another fantastic young player in there. You met him earlier, who we signed for next season. Okay.
Who we're not allowed to say.
Who we're not allowed to say just yet. But ultimately,
contractual situations.
I think I can say he was at Southampton, and he was one person's decision away from either probably making it at a decent level or not. So we've watched this kid who Ross knows very well, has coached him for a year, and if you get him right, should we go on a clue hunt? Let's go on a clue hunt. If we get him right and give him the love of enjoying his football again, which is actually what it's all about.
Yeah. That's
what we're trying to say to everyone. You've got to get your enjoyment of football back. He's got a hell of a chance to go back into league football, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so that excites us as much as, you know, necessarily winning the league or, you know, we sort of understand where we are in the pecking order.
Yeah.
We can't go and offer £1,000 a week to a player. So the best thing that we can do is develop a player and give them an opportunity. And I think that's a big excitement of what we're trying to do down there, is a development.
So you touched on one of the signings there. So obviously this time of year, fans will be looking at it going, oh, boys are on holiday. You boys don't really have holiday, do you? This is quite a busy time for you boys sorting out your squad for next season, because what I have noticed with non-league footballers, there's a lot of squad rotation that goes on, a lot of moving going on during the season, but also this time of year. So I'm guessing you boys are pretty busy right now.
Yeah, no, it has been busy since that last day at Dorchester. A lot of calls between me and Doz, looking obviously to improve the squad. Obviously with football we let go of a few, but it's really important that we replace them, and like I said, it's important that we put the players in to fit the way we want to play. I think going back to your question earlier, I think I agree, we have played some good football, but we also need to keep developing. We don't want to be a one-trick pony. Yeah. I mean, even at this level, all teams are doing it. They're watching teams play. The last thing we want to do. So we're adapting the way we want to play, and it's really important that we're bringing the right players in to fit into that system. But yeah, like I said, it's also important about, although they're quality players, they're good people, because that's a massive thing. And I think that goes around the club. And like since I've been here, the people I'm working with have been brilliant. And it's really important we bring good people in to help develop that. So
are we allowed to talk about the squad changes, about the ones that are not going to be here next season?
I mean, we announced. You make those decisions relatively early. And again, just being very honest with you, there was one that, you know, I found particularly difficult with Jacob Gardner-Smith. And again, I'll be quite honest, I mentioned to Jacob in April that he was going to be an important part of what we were looking to do. But unfortunately in football things move quite quickly, and you know, Ross very much wanted a more mobile team and a younger team, and 1 or 2 players became available that were in that sort of set that Ross wanted.
Yeah.
So, you know, Jake Hesketh, different situation. Jake's doing extremely well at work. He's had a great stellar career really in terms of being a non-league player but actually a league player.
Yeah.
But Jake wasn't able to commit to training during the week anymore. So that again, with the sort of younger route that we're going down, you've got to be able to train during the week. Blaze again just came to the end of his contract. Again, thought he did a really good job for us. No hard feelings on that. He's gone and signed for Havant in the last couple of weeks, and that's a good signing for them. But again, you know, Ross was after a certain profile of midfielder, and we felt that the recruitment that we're going to go, I think again you met him about an hour ago. So we don't need to take too many of the moving parts away. It was a good side here last year.
Yeah.
But we're signing a striker. We're signing 2 midfield players. The big excitement for me is getting Dan Jones back, who's been so unlucky with an injury the whole season. So Dan Jones is back, and of course Byron's back strong and fit, and we get Jake McCarthy back strong and fit. So I think if you look at we didn't want to change too much because we didn't feel we were that far away.
Yeah.
But we also felt we needed to move 2 or 3 areas of the pitch to get more mobile, younger, quicker, more able to press really, because that's what we want to be next year, is a side that's technically good but actually can press the ball from the front.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to say with that, like, since we've come in, we've tried to develop it every year. Like, I think if we were to go and get rid of half a squad, you almost start again. There's so much work and detail that goes into how we play, what we want to do in and out of possession. Like, you almost start from scratch, and I think it's really important that we just keep building on our success of what we've got so far.
Yeah.
But we want to continue. So, like I said, hopefully get success next year.
So it's evolution, not revolution.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, because I think if you look at the 24-year-olds we've got, which is a brilliant age to be a footballer.
Yeah.
You're no longer a kid, but you're also not at that point where you've got children or you've got a responsibility.
And you've got the legs.
You've got legs, and you look at Joe Roberts and Brad Targett, who are our 2 fullbacks, stroke wing backs. You know, we don't talk about Joe Roberts enough. I love Joe Roberts. I mean, again, another one of your intros. Brad Targett, fantastic player for this club.
Yeah.
You then go into Reece Wiley, who's our players' player, managers' player, everyone's favourite. So we've got a really good base of 23, 24-year-olds mixed in with a Vinny at 18 and Tommy at 19, and then, as I said, the next 3 signings are all in that 24-year age group as well. So I think we've got a nice mix of Byron and Sam Magri for the experience.
Absolutely. And with the next few weeks, obviously the lads, I'm assuming, come back for pre-season training. What, end of June, beginning of July?
Yeah, so we're in the 27th June. They've been sent. Obviously, Jack, who does our strength and conditioning programs. So really, like I think I said in my last interview at Dorchester, like, it's important they get family time now, and obviously a few of them on holiday. But back in 27th, testing, sorted it out on Saturday, and then. We're cracking straight on with pre-season.
And what does the next few weeks look like for you with no players around in terms of preparation? What are you focusing on for the next few weeks?
Well, like we sort of touched on in this, I think we're there now in terms of recruitment side. So I think mine will naturally go into now around what pre-season looks like. We've got a brilliant pre-season schedule thanks to Doz.
Yeah, we like to. I mean, we do it as much for income. We want to also get our supporters used to coming back to the ground. But we got 6 really, really good Saturday and Tuesday games here, and we do the one away, which is the last game before the start of the season, which again is against a really good club in a Conference South. So I think we end up with 3 Conference South sides, a National League side coming in, and then mixing amongst that, we got some Step 4 sides. So we might struggle to compete at times against the National League sides and whatever, but we want to do that. And
I think it's good to test yourself though. You've got to test yourself against people that are better than you, because that's how you improve. Yeah. That's why I love playing golf with professionals.
Yeah, any sport actually.
I just love watching them.
Play any sport.
Trying to learn off people that are better than you.
Yeah, it's always the way to go. And then we've got 2 or 3 Step 4 teams that we're playing against that are all very good, very sort of good but local.
Yeah.
And again, hopefully that gives us a bit more, perhaps more of the ball, and trying to do a bit more of what we want to do. But within the pre-season, the season ticket offer as well, that's all included. So
I was just about to talk about that. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because it has got to be one of the cheapest season tickets in football at any level. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Just talk us through how much a game it's going to cost someone to get a season ticket in next year.
Well,
for an adult.
if you included your 6 pre-season games,
Yeah,
it's £4.67.
that's crazy. Where do you get value for money like this in this day and age? You can't even get a pint for that.
You know what I've tried to do here,
Well,
right?
I-
and it's one of the reasons you decided you'd come on board and
Exactly.
be part of it.
Yeah,
We are not within a community that's well heeled. You know, it's a tough place, this, and there's not a lot of money spilling about at the minute, especially with Donald Trump doing what he's been doing. So the bottom line
got
for me is,
political now.
yeah, first time ever. But you've only got to look at it. Do you know what I mean? Gas, electric, price of
Yeah,
petrol.
absolutely.
Ultimately, we wanted to give people the chance to come and get out on a Saturday, come to a local club. Under 19's free, right? So if you're a dad on that estate, it's going to cost you £4.67 to come and bring your 2 kids and yourself to come and watch the football.
Yeah,
Mixed in amongst that, I think the atmosphere down here, brilliant. You know, you can walk around and have a pint still.
Yeah.
That's the level of football.
yeah.
You know, you're not restricted.
The marquee's
Listen,
great. You get to watch the football.
Watch the football from
lunchtime
there.
before the game kicks
Yeah.
off here. It's a real a good
Yes.
afternoon, like 6 hours, like 5 or 6 hours. You can easily come down
Yeah.
for like next to nothing. Really.
Yeah, and I think, you know,
Burgers are
even
great.
dogs are welcome. You know, it's seriously anyone. You know, and the point is where it's not segregated. You know, you can go and talk to opposing fans still. I think the lovely thing is that people can come in and talk to you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, before the game, you like it. All the players win after the game, and you can't do that at league level anymore. You know, you've got security guards around you. You've got.
Yeah.
I think it's what's wrong in the game, if I'm being honest. So. Yeah, we've gone that, but also again thanks to Darren Cooper, Peter Cooper. He's doing this Project 10,000.
Yeah,
for us.
great supporter of local
He's
causes.
brilliant, and
absolutely superb.
what that is again is, you know, all the kids getting in for free. You can get in for £8 with a Project 10,000 if you support a club, or a tenner. So, as much as important football is to us, it's also been massively important. Our crowds have gone from 170 when we first turned up, and we're now just under 600.
Brilliant.
But if we don't get to
We can
1,000,
go again.
yeah, we've got to get to 1,000 people who want to watch really good football,
Yeah.
have a really nice day, and actually, you know, no one's died if we
Yeah.
lose,
And have a connection with
and
the
have a
local
connection
community.
with the local community.
Yeah, I
And
think-
that pitch has helped, without question. You know, all of our youth teams, other youth teams, we got walking football. I watched 10 to 12
I've
guys
done it.
playing football.
I've done it.
Just watching them do it makes me feel quite proud.
Yeah, that's
I was down there watching
Onion loves it.
Onion loves
Onion
it. Love
rings
Onion.
me. Every
We all love
time he's
Onion.
played walking football, he'll ring me up, tell me how many goals he scored.
Yeah,
or let
and
me-
me. And me.
He's brilliant.
He's a great character, isn't he? And you know, he does that thing with you on his. I mean, everyone loves him, and you know, we
He's
love
actually
him.
more famous at this ground than I am.
Indeed, he is. Yeah, than all of us. And
More people speak to him than they come to speak to me.
but
It's
he's
incredible.
legendary. People said to me, "Why did you join the club?" You know, obviously I've done Eastleigh, I've done Sutton, I've done Havant, and what people might not know is I was born and bred in Cholan, literally just down the road, and therefore I grew up with him. And he has always been just great fun.
Yeah.
He's a great personality, and we absolutely love him being around.
Yeah,
at
and
the
I've known him
club.
since we were actually at college together. You know, it was his. I mean, that's not 1985.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how the years have gone, and known him for over
Do
40
you know the
years.
funniest
So I
thing
love
about
it, he's
Onion
brilliant.
is he'll swap allegiances like that, right? So I remember playing. So he used to support the Woolston Trayton Labour
Oh,
on
yeah.
Sunday, and I played for. Funny enough, played for Vosper's or Statham's. It was up here. And if we beat Woolston Trayton Labour 2-1 on the Sunday, he'd be in your camp, right, having a beer with you. I'll never forget about. It was only about 2 weeks later we had to play in the cup down at Woolston T&L's ground, and they beat us 2 or 3-0, and he was like bang smack in their camp. So whoever won on that particular day, he'd like swapping between Chelsea and Man City. I mean. But a lovely guy and a lovely character,
He
and
is.
of course we fully embrace him up here. And
And fair play to him, he actually chose going to watch the
He did.
cup final
Instead of
at
Saints.
Tottenham instead of going to the Saints game and working and
I know.
earning a few bob.
Yeah, we know Onion loves a pound, so for him to give that up and watch the Hampshire Senior Cup was. But that's sort of what we're about.
That's all part of this community.
That's
That's,
part of
what I
what we're
like
trying to
about
do.
it. You
Yeah.
know, you see this like a lot of the same faces coming.
Yeah.
And I actually quite like. I know we've got our little stand over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. I actually quite like, especially when we're kicking this way. I
Yeah.
love being stood behind that goal because you're so close to everything.
And you're close to the Malibu in Cove.
Well, there is that.
By the
But no,
mark.
I love it. I've been stood behind a goal for some of the cracking goals that we've scored this season. Like it's been.
Do you remember that Reece Wiley one? Because I didn't realise you were stood there until we rewatched it on the highlights and we saw you going up. Yeah, and saw you going up. And I think Harry Taylor might have been suspended. Was around you that day. So all three of you were hugging. That Reece Wiley goal was something else.
It was indeed.
Yeah, the community feel. Just to finish that sort of probably point off. People are saying you can't afford to do it, and they're probably right. But we also want to get to that point where if we've got 1,000 people down there, then we can afford to do it because the secondary spend element of it does allow you to do it.
But I ought to say, 2 years I've been here and the football, I've really enjoyed watching it. It's been an absolute pleasure. Got the boys playing some good stuff, good energy in the team, and I look forward to next season. See what that brings because we've set the standard now.
Yeah.